So if you talk to any entrepreneurs, traders, investors, or people that are investing in companies for a living, they'll give you an entire process and roadmap for how they do all their investments. Today, we were writing a lot of these on the board. I don't know if you guys can see here, but we were working today. Actually, Tomas, our developer, just went home. He was working here for the past few days as we're developing something for our AI to do that work for us. And today, I want to jump into the 5-step process that you can start applying right now in your investing. Let's get into it. So I don't trust predictions, I don't trust hype or any one indicator, and I definitely don't trust my emotions with money, but I do trust a process. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what that process is, what I personally use when my capital is invested, and what most people seem to miss. It's not because they are dumb, it's because they're just inconsistent. The strategies that I'm going to show you are exactly what I use that you can start executing on right now. And everything for me has just been realizing that if you have a repeatable process, then you have something you can consistently invest with. If you don't have a repeatable process, you're probably guessing or gambling. So there's no opinions, no guessing, no gambling, just the rules here. Let's get into it. So number one is that I have a checklist. Okay, the checklist is going to look something like this. Number one in the checklist, I'm going to look at things like the market, okay? The market that I'm investing in. So you'd want to invest in an AI market, or maybe in a data center market, or a quantum computing market, or you want to look at the top markets that are emerging right now. The market is broken down into 2 factors. So this is the checklist that the market meets with good financials. So financial, let's say, increase. So increases in the financial spend and income. Whoa, there we go. Number 2 or B is going to be real world usage. So the usage, okay, the actual usage. Going into a market investing and seeing that they, let's say, have financial increases, but they don't have real usage, will end up putting you in a situation where you're investing into something that isn't going to hold real value. Usage equals value to the marketplace. So you might see a lot of money going into the market, but if there's not real world usage, or obviously people are getting real value out of it, then it's like either a scam or it's a fad or it's going to come and go very quickly. And if there is usage but no financial increases, I would rather invest in the usage with no financial increases than financial increases but no usage. So there are cases where usage is very high, like let's say music, but the financial increases are very low. Music's not very valuable in certain cases. So, and that's why it's a very hard industry to be in and invest in. And so number 2, outside of market in this checklist, is that you want to have a setup of the analysis. And the analysis is going to be broken down into, number 1 could be news. And the news has to be real sources. It can't be fake sources. It can't be sources that are made up of people that are just trying to get attention or going off the negative news. It has to be real news. And ideally, this news is either a press release, meaning directly from the company, or if you're not investing in a company, but it may be something else, that it's just like verifiable, a verifiable source of news. And this could also be related to product or state of the product, state of the company, that it is verified and that it is being used, or that it is getting deployed, or is getting, sometimes it's like contracts or new ownership, institutional ownership, things like that. Okay, and this has got to be real. And then after news, so that's going to be making sure it's good news for the future, is going to be in the analysis stage. So we're in A, news. B could be considered the financials. Okay, financials indicates that you have positive net income. Hopefully they are actually turning a profit, this company, that it is has a balance sheet that is positive. So in other words, if you're investing in a company that has more liabilities than assets, so let's say liabilities are their debt. Okay, liabilities and assets. Liabilities are greater than the assets, then that is not good. All right. Equals probably bankrupt. There we go. Can we move this over a little bit? Let's see. Bankrupt. There we go. There we are. Okay, and then the financials, you want to get a positive net income, balance sheet, all that good stuff. And you also want to make sure that the revenue is increasing. Revenue is increasing. Increasing revenue. All right, and you want to make sure that you get number C, which is going to be the charts. All right, so this includes the moving average of the market or of that asset. That could include in stocks RSI / MACD. That could include the support and the resistance. And that could include things like the Fibonacci, and other things like the EMA or the SMA, EMA plus SMA. You want to learn how to read those things. A lot of things to organize, right? So that's number one. All right, number one is the checklist. So you want to have a checklist when you're investing. You want market dialed. You want the analysis dialed, the news, the financials, the charts dialed, and all of those things. And then number two is a process. Okay, a process looks like this. There we are. It's going to be process. There you are, process. Now, the process should include kind of what we just went over in the checklist, but it's got to include that the risk to reward makes sense. Okay, so ideally, the amount of risk, like let's give an example. I usually go negative 0.2% or 0.2, not percent, to positive, let's say 10, or yeah, there we go, 1. So in other words, if you want to make, if the goal for profit, say goal for profit, then let's say you're looking for 10%. Wow, that was not the best drawing. Let's see, there we go. 10%. Jeez. The goal for profit is 10%. Wow. All right, 10%. Then your goal for what you're going to risk here would be, let's say, negative 2%. Okay. So this means that I could lose multiple investments or trades, and that's fine. And I have risk management so that I could win in the long term. That's a process. The other part of the process is how you get information. So that's going to be like the verified sources and things like that, right? So verified sources, and then you want to go through that 3-step process of the markets. Okay, you want to go through the analysis. Okay, market and the analysis. All right, you go through these things. Now, when I go through these things, there is a next steps. That's the process, right? Risk to reward makes sense. And if it doesn't, I also have risk management. So even if I'm getting into an investment where maybe on the surface, after doing some analysis, it looks like there's still a lot of risk, that's fine as long as I have proper risk management, meaning I have this risk here set. Okay. Now, the process is ideally put into a prompt. This is what I do. So what I'll do a lot of times is, and you can do this too, is you want to take this process, for example, and I'll leave a document for you. If you want to go get this document and get it into a PDF format, you can take the format and you can put it into the knowledge base of a, let's say, ChatGPT or a Gemini, and then have the AI do the analysis for you so that you can get those processes done on autopilot. So the process isn't just here to be a process. The process is actually here to save you time. So you save time with a process because it's repeatable. So if I'm trying to save time with a process, I can take this process, okay, and I can give it to an AI for what we're going to call number 3 here, which is the prompt. The prompt. There we go. Prompt. Okay. So the prompt ideally is going to use all of this entire process and the checklist into a prompt, and the AI will do the analysis for you. Okay, so this is the key. You get AI to look at the news, the financials, the charts. It's better than humans at looking at these things. And then you have it essentially take this information, all right, and the market, don't forget the market. Take this information and you put it into a you put it into a decision that you make with your capital. So now you make an investment decision after all of this information. Now, some people say, I wouldn't make an investment decision because of AI. And I'm saying AI makes a better investment decision than 99% of humans if you give it this process. Okay, so you give it this process and it's going to do what it needs to do to identify the value. Now, in the investment decision, this brings us to number 4, which is capital. Number 4, capital. So you're going to need money in order to make money. Okay, some people think they can make a fortune when they only have $100 or $1,000, and they're going to turn it into $100,000 or $1 million or more. It doesn't work. You need more capital. And the only way to get more capital is to earn more capital. So you want to earn more capital, get more earned income if you do not have capital built up. Go earn it and build your portfolio value by implementing this process. So essentially how it will work is you have a stock or an investment, you go through the checklist, and you go through the process, and you put it through AI to help you make a decision to then make quick decisions. So you can do this without the AI, but you have to know how to process this information in your mind. If you don't know how to process this information in your mind about the whole checklist process, then it's better to run it through an AI. while you're learning. Or if you already know and you just want to save time, then you do that. Run it through, get the decision, then the decision turns into capital. Now there's one thing. You take the capital that you already have, and you're going to want to obviously already have some capital built up here, but you're going to want to take the decision with your capital to grow the capital. And then once you have your capital invested, you can use AI once again to revalidate the stock that you're in to make a decision of whether to keep it or continue. Now, this is a process that I use. Now, I used to use more of my brain here, but what I realized was that I can't keep up with all of the things happening in the world because of this little thing right here called AI and everything that's happening. And I realized that I can invest in more stocks when I use this checklist and process because I have more power behind this, because I can use the checklist and the process not manually, but get the AI to do it, get the decision. As long as I have the capital to invest in it, then I can make that decision and then reevaluate the decision with the same checklist and process. And there is some slight inversion that you can do if you want to do the checklist and process when you're either looking to buy or when you're looking to sell. When you're looking to buy, you may look at things like, if you were holding it right now, would you sell? If the answer is no, that might be a good buy. If you're investing and you're looking to sell and you don't know if you should make that decision, you might look at it and say, if I was holding this right now, would I buy it? If the answer is yes, then it might not be the best sell right now. So these things help with the decision making and inversion and psychology, but ultimately that's the process. So that brings us, we just did number 4, capital, and then running it with the process and the checklist to make the decision and repeat the process. Then the next step is going to be building out a routine. So you can do this, but you still got to be sharp enough to have the ability to make good decisions. And you're not going to make good decisions if you are drunk. You have to, for example, go figure out the right approach. So that might mean going to have, like, this is going to be called your routine, okay? So you have to have a routine around your investing. Every great investor has one. A routine to stay on track, a routine to keep things in line. And one thing that might involve a routine would be sleep. That would be like going to bed and getting up at the same time each night. Sounds crazy, but it makes a massive difference. Like an actual sleep routine, like even sleep hygiene. Did you know, like if you take care of yourself, wash yourself before you go to bed, you actually have a better sleep hygiene. Or tracking your sleep. So there's things you could do like track your sleep, have better sleep hygiene, just get consistent sleep, like at the same time every day and night, within at least an hour or two. That's what I usually go for. And then your body will start to become adjusted. And so you want to adjust for the same things, like consistent like meals, and you don't want to overwhelm your body. Like if you're getting up in the morning, you've had a good night of sleep, don't eat like a super heavy meal right before you're about to look at the markets. You're going to be tired, you're going to be unfocused. Or don't, drink alcohol. Like just doing that will help you. But literally, like meals, like in the morning or when you're looking at investments, like keep them light. Like I do a smoothie in the morning. When you get into like lunch, like have it at the same time, like consistent lunch. And in between when you start your day, like the sleep is like your whole day, right? Your start and then the end of your day. Very important. And then what you do in between is like you might have a meal here, but ultimately you have to be like vigorous with your time if you're going to be really on top of your game for the investing. So you have to have like consistent meals. Probably you have pre-made meals, we have somebody making your meals, or something that can make it so you're not spending so much time eating, like a smoothie or something that's light, or that you get a delivery or something. There's things you have to do to save time so you can really get
a full day of great work in for your investing. And so light lunch, when it comes to the mornings, like meditation, like taking a time to meditate for a second may make a difference. And just don't think about anything. If you do these things, like track your sleep, have good sleep hygiene, have normal meals, and like work and struggle, go to the gym. Like I go to the gym in the morning, work and get exercise, then your mind and body will be ready for work. So kind of like work, meal, work, end the day with things that keep you sharp, like reading and kind of like reviewing your day or the next day. Reviewing the next day. There you go. Whatever. There we are. Okay. Reviewing the next day. Okay. So just to overview all the things we just went over and how we keep things consistent in our gains. Number one, we have a checklist that we go through for the market, the analysis, the news, and the liabilities, the risk, the financials. Then we go through and the charts and the indicators. Okay. Then we go through the process. Okay. The process talks about risk to reward, verified sources, going through that initial checklist and verifying the checklist. Then we go through from the process to number 3, the prompt. And the prompt is where we take and use AI to put the whole process into the prompt to help us make investment decisions. And then number 4, that investment decision from the stock that we've identified, and we go through the checklist, the process with AI into the decision, that capital is sufficient enough for it to make a difference that we do that. So earned capital, enough capital in our portfolio and money that's continuing to grow in the portfolio, not just from the actual gains, but from what we're continuing to add to the portfolio. And we continue to do that. Then the decision when we buy the stock, what do we do then? And using the same checklist and process to make the decision on when you sell. And then finally, the routine. Like if you don't have these things consistent and you aren't sharp enough, then you're going to have a tough time keeping your mind right with consistent sleep, starting the day, ending the day, meals, meditation, work, exercise, reading, reviewing the next day. All those things will keep you on track for growing your portfolio to millions of dollars, hopefully, when you do this process. So if you enjoy this process, you'd like to do more processes like this, we do have an app that we recently launched that does this entire process for you on autopilot. You know how we talked about that checklist? Well, we have something actually that does exactly that, and it's called Prophecy AI. So Prophecy AI is built to view market timing, entries, and exits through the lens of leading AI models. So what we've done is we've taken our best analysis processes that we normally do, and we've integrated them into AI to do them for us. And so now we can search any stock we want. So we could pull in, our favorite stock. We were just doing BBAI, and we can get future projections on any stock here. You can see the next projections over the next month. Fundamental analysis that's loading up. Technical analysis, we can see the nearest support levels, the nearest resistance levels. And then we can also see things like the top transactors, which people are buying and selling inside, as we talked about, kind of the insider buying and selling, and what that actually means by looking at the AI, seeing what the AI says, along with the balance sheets, and seeing what the AI says about these things. And so this is built with AI to do the research for you. We also have quantum analysis that does the quantum analysis on the timeframes that you're looking for using IonQ or Rigetti. And it will, for example, pull quantum analysis and say the next month is the most confident here for BBAI. So on top of that, we also recently added the ability for you to use Grok, OpenAI, Claude, and Gemini, the best AI models in the world. If you want more information on how to use this, and you'd like to get it into your investing portfolio, start searching your favorite stocks or using the best AIs in the world with the best processes for investing. then it's going to be the first link in the description. If you'd ever like to see us go through this process manually like we do every day at Market Open, we're there Monday through Friday. It's not getting any better than this holiday discount. Go grab it if you'd like to join us at Market Open as soon as tomorrow. Get the entries, get the exits that we invest in the AI, quantum, space, and tech markets. You can also learn how to invest by learning about options, fundamental, technical analysis that we covered there as well. So I appreciate you all. Let me know your thoughts down below. Do you like this type of video, as it's different than what we normally do? And hit the like button if I earned it. Do consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.